400,000. That's how many Palestinians have been displaced since the fragile Gaza ceasefire fell through last month. But now, Indonesia wants to intervene. President Prabowo Subianto has made an announcement. He says the Southeast Asian country, Indonesia, wants to offer shelter to Palestinians who've been hit by the war. This will be on a temporary basis, and it will apply to orphans and people in need of medical treatment. Subianto expects 1,000 evacuees in the first wave, and this comes days after Jakarta discussed a pilot program to allow Gazans to emigrate to Indonesia for work. So what's behind these moves, and what does Subianto hope to achieve with them? Here's a report.
Gaza increasingly looks like a quote-unquote killing field. Since Israel renewed its offensive last month, 1,449 Palestinians have been killed. About 400,000 have been displaced. Indonesia has now offered a helping hand. President Prabowo Subianto is ready to shelter Palestinians, specifically medical evacuees and children orphaned by the war. He claims he's instructed the foreign minister to start discussions with the Palestinian authorities and draw up a plan on how they'll be evacuated. Subianto intends to send planes to transport the victims. He expects them to bring back about 1,000 Palestinians in the first batch. Now, the move will not be for permanent resettlement. Indonesia is the world's most populous Muslim-majority country. It has long been a supporter of Palestinians. Last year, it was willing to send peacekeeping troops to Gaza. And now, Subianto claims that other nations have called on Jakarta to increase its role in seeking a resolution to the conflict. He added, Indonesia's commitment in supporting the safety of Palestinians and their independence has pushed our government to act more actively. But there could be more to the story. For months now, US President Donald Trump has proposed to move all Palestinians out of Gaza, to take ownership of the territory, oversee a massive cleanup process, and then develop it as a premier real estate project. Unsurprisingly, Israel loved the plan. This week, Benjamin Netanyahu met Trump in Washington and they discussed it.
I think it's an incredible piece of important real estate. And I think it's something that we would be involved in.
Gaza was the only place where they locked them in. We didn't lock them in. They're locked in. And what is wrong with giving people a choice?
This is a highly controversial idea. Palestinians have rejected this proposal. So have African nations contacted by Israel and the US to house the displaced Gazans, and dozens of Arab and Muslim-majority nations, including Indonesia. About 2 months ago, their foreign ministry said it strongly rejects any attempt to forcibly displace Palestinians. And Jakarta's opinion has not changed, at least publicly. But amid tariff troubles, it can't afford to put off Trump.
The U.S. giving such a high tariff increase to many countries, this can cause uncertainty. Many countries are worried. In fact, the founders of our nation from the past, and including me for years, have reminded us to build our economy with the target of standing on our own 2 feet.
Southeast Asia's biggest economy faces a 32% tariff, so it's trying to woo America. It will send a high-level delegation to the United States next week. It has announced a raft of concessions on US imports. Last month, it discussed a pilot program with Israel, a country with which it doesn't have diplomatic relations. So Jakarta and Jerusalem opened a special communication channel to discuss a plan to allow Gazans to emigrate to Indonesia for work. According to reports, around 100 Gazans would be part of the first wave of the program. While the plan hasn't been executed yet, Indonesia seems to have opened its arms to Palestinian refugees even wider. But the timing of it all is hard to ignore.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India. What we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Bluntly, Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.